cocaine addiction, alcohol abuse. Since his comeback, he has won 12 of 13 bouts. Michael Dokes in the ring tonight against Razor Ruddock. And when you think about Michael Dokes, you think about his comeback story. Indeed, a good one. Sam Rosen has the story.
Tough, hard fight back for Michael Dokes. Not his heavyweight fights in the ring, but his fight to overcome drug addiction. And he's winning. Back in December of 1982, at the age of 24, he stopped Mike Weaver in the first round to win the WBA Heavyweight Championship. It was a glorious moment, and he should have been on top of the world. Instead, what followed was a nightmare. Too much drinking and too much drugs, and Michael Dokes went from the top to the bottom. It looked like the end of a man who had everything. Michael Dokes has worked hard to come back. He was out of the ring for 33 months as he fought his biggest fight, the one to overcome drug addiction. He returned to boxing in December of 1987 and has worked his way back into contention for a title shot. As tough as it's been, he accepts everything he's been through.
I think it was supposed to happen like that. It taught me a great lesson, and I mean, I grew up by leaps and bounds. I'm much more precocious now than I was then, and I was a pretty wise and colorful kid then. So I think for me it's better because it helped me mature, helped me grow up, and helped me to understand and accept the responsibilities that are allocated to me. There's no temptations now. There's no distractions. I'm at peace with myself. I'm much more tranquil with myself. There's much more harmony within myself. And my spirituality is so much higher that I think that it overrides the things that may have been detrimental to me.
While drug addiction has cost him the prime years of his boxing career, Michael Dokes doesn't dwell on that. Instead, he's thankful to those who have stood by him, like 92-year-old Marty Cohen. What's helped Dokes come back is realizing he was hurting the people around him who mattered most.
I never realized that I affected so many people outside of myself. That was probably one of the most devastating things that I finally realized that, you know, when my mother, you know, her father was dying, and I was in the hospital, and we had family day. And she caught a plane all the way from Ohio to Las Vegas. Then she had to take a bus for 3 hours to come and see me. And she did that, and her father was dying at that time of cancer. And she stayed. We had a very nice visit, and we reflected on things with my counselor and things to try and to work on. And then she had to go all the way back to Vegas, catch a plane all the way back to Ohio, and be back with him within 24 hours. That was probably one of the most devastating things. Also with Pops, he had told me he had a heart attack, and it was because of me. So there was a few things that brought me to the conclusion that it wasn't worth it.
Michael Dokes once again has the respect of the boxing world. His only loss during his comeback was to top contender Evander Holyfield. But Dokes was actually a winner in defeat, proving how much he had left. At 31 years old, he knows there isn't much time left in his boxing career. He wants another shot at a world championship, but says there's more to winning for him than getting a chance at the title.
You know, once you mess up a good thing, and you want to resume, there's a certain amount of trials and tribulations that you must go through, and processes you must go through. And people always have these doubts about you, you know, which is rightfully so, because you messed up so bad the first time, which you have to prove yourself. And my biggest thing was that every goal that they set out for me, I want to be able to accomplish it. And that's the main thing that I work for. And not only that, to serve a purpose for other suffering addicts, other disadvantaged kids or people, to give them the hope and the chance to feel that they can do it too. I mean, nobody was as down as I was, went through as much as I went through, or did as many drugs as I did. to feel that they can't rebound from it. I think you must have the faith and the belief within yourself and the forgiveness within yourself and pray a whole lot.
Michael Dokes, a man in touch with his emotions, his feelings, and a man who's very glad that he has lived to tell his own story. His opponent tonight, Donovan Ruddock, born in Jamaica, now living in Toronto, Canada. 5 years younger than Michael Dokes, a lot less experience. Right now, let's look at the number 3 contender in the WBA heavyweight division, Ruddock.
The winner by way of knockout, the new heavyweight champion of the world, James Buster Douglas.
Ruddock can still hear the echo of the ring announcer's voice. He can hear it, and he's fighting mad because of it. Ruddock's fight with Mike Tyson never came to fruition. His contract went up in smoke. Buster Douglas capitalized in Tokyo. The Razors still can't believe it. Ruddock hopes to harness his anger, or better yet, take out his unhappiness on Michael Dokes. Ruddock has the power and the ferocity to become a world champion, but can he get over the mental anguish of a fight that never was? In the meantime, he's in the gym training, preparing for Michael Dokes. He refuses to sit around and wait for a title fight to come to him.
I'm not like that. I gotta know personally. I don't know about the rest of the people around me. If they're, you know, I gotta know. I gotta keep going. I gotta know that I am the best. And if I cannot go there and prove to myself that I'm the best, then I'm not worthy of being here. You know, and I'm not fooling myself. I'm not wasting my time. I know exactly where I stand, and that's why I take these fights, because I want to be sure that I am the best when I walk out there. I'm not worrying about anything because I did my homework. And as long as I did my homework, I cannot control anything around that.
The work ethic. It's Ruddock's pride and joy. Few fighters in all of boxing have the same desire and discipline in the gymnasium. Ruddock is simply a workaholic who believes that a healthy body rewards a healthy mind. For some fighters, fatigue is a watchword. Not for Ruddock. It's not in his vocabulary.
I always train. I always keep myself in physical condition, and I spar a lot, even though I don't get the fights. And I take boxing as my job, and I concentrate on going to the gym every day. Sometimes I overdo it. Sometimes I keep training every day, and I probably burn myself out, and I, you know, take a couple of days off, even when I'm not fighting.
He's probably one of the few athletes that you have to really slow him down because he works so hard. You could call him and talk to him. He still wants to run. He still wants to work. He wants to go to the gym every day, and you can't do that.
If Ruddock lacks anything, it's pure experience. The quality of his opponents does not measure up to Dokes. Ruddock's only major test to date was last July in Fayetteville, North Carolina, on the home turf of Bone Crusher Smith. He hit the canvas in the second round, but bounced back impressively. It was his strength and stamina which wore down a tired former champion. When Ruddock landed a vicious left uppercut in the 7th round, he sounded a warning to the rest of the heavyweight division. And now he's ready to take the next step at Madison Square Garden tonight.
This is going to be, I say, a new phase for me, because it's going to be like a lot of people there, a lot of fight. And it doesn't bother me with the people, but being fighting in Madison Square Garden as Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier, and all of those guys fight there, it inspired me. And when I come out and the people are cheering for Michael Dokes and they're cheering for me, that's what I like. You know, it's just competition.
So what's your prediction? A stoppage, a decision? What are you going to tell us?
Well, it's hard for me to say right now. I'm not the type who's going to predict that stuff, but, you know, it's going to be an interesting fight.
Who's going to win the fight?
Me.